Hello, Tyler DeWitt here, national speaker, and I've spoke for the world's largest digital marketing conference multiple times in the master classes with closing keynotes, combined with workshops in front of enterprise clients, or attendees, I should say. Excuse me. So, during this video podcast, I'm going to talk about the power of storytelling in digital marketing and why you should be utilizing it. Stories should be built into your marketing, whether it's in your bio, about page, around your products, on your blog, even your video podcast. You can create stories if you have a podcast. So storytelling is a powerful thing. And the reason being for it is because we've been telling stories since the beginning of time. We used to sit around the campfire at night back in the, caveman days, more than less, telling stories. That's all we did. We would share stories about how we accomplished a task. We would share stories about our challenge, then we had a solution. People have been doing this since the beginning of time. And if you probably recall, your parents were even telling you stories when you was growing up. People are always telling stories. We love stories. We love watching movies, and some of us even listen to music, and we listen to it word for word. Other people might just listen to the beat, but some of us do listen to it word to word, depending on what you're listening to. And it sounds really good, right? Gets your energy up. So people like to read stories they can relate to. When someone comes across a story online, sometimes they're like, well, that's me. I had the same problem, and this person did this to solve, their problem. They come across a challenge. Say, for example, they was wanting to lose weight, and they came across a weight loss article. And then Jack or Jill, whoever it may be, writes a story about how she or he was struggling to lose weight and how they resolved it. And had the challenge of they just didn't feel confident, their self-esteem, and they was back out dating. And this person might come across a story and they're in the same mode. They're getting ready to sign up to a dating site or whatever, or they're out, back dating again, they're single again, or looking to date. So they read this story and all of a sudden they just, bam, it clicks in their head. And they engage with it, and it keeps their attention. And in this story, this person's talking about what they did to lose weight. It could have been dieting, exercising, or it could have even been taking supplements. Now think of it. That's key right there. They could even utilize yoga. So in this story, Jack or Jill or whoever wrote the story then moves from telling a story into selling a product or service. Starting to add up now? You've probably come across things like this online. We've all been telling stories, like I said, for a long time. And let me share a story with you. Back in the early 2008, 2010, actually even before that, we was writing up review pages and telling stories. We didn't call it storytelling. We called it advertorial review pages. This whole storytelling word just started emerging not too long ago. And one person that made it really popular was Carmine Gallo. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's an instructor at Harvard. And he's very passionate about storytelling. I would highly advise that you read his book if you haven't. And I even spoke about storytelling in the master classes that I did. In San Francisco it was. And I talked a little bit about it in San Diego too. Anyways, so we used to sell stories around supplements. And one day I was sitting there thinking, when we first started our supplements, we had a few diet products we started years back because we was actually marketing for a company that was selling supplements, and they had stories built around their supplements, review pages, but we had to change it up. Well, we quit working with this company because they sold, and so we took a pivot in that area of our business, and we had our own supplement manufactured. Well, we was only doing like $500 to $1,000 a month, right? Not too much revenue. Well, I come up with an idea about us start sharing stories and other people that have used the ingredients or products that we have. And we shared a story about how, the supplement helped us lose weight through energy, and we compared it to other products out there. So somebody was searching for Hydroxycut. Eventually they come across to our product because Hydroxycut was always known to give you the jitters and make you all bingy, speedy and everything else. And a lot of people didn't like that. So we created a story on how our product was not like that. And then sales just started rolling in. As soon as we got it optimized in Google, actually we didn't really do much optimization. The content was pulling up in Google. And we started generating some sales, like 5,000 a month. Well, before that end of the year, I was up to doing 40, 50, 60,000 a month in profit. I mean, it took off like a rocket. And this was all through storytelling. And people are still doing this today. People are telling stories all the time around products. And if you notice, people have learned over time that this is what makes people click. This is a key driver in business. So my point is, and what I'm trying to tell you, if you're not utilizing storytelling, make sure that you are. And make sure you hire a good writer to tell stories. And you can tell stories through videos. You can tell stories through, Instagram somewhat. The best place to tell stories is through Facebook and content. And you can do it through video podcast too, or on YouTube. But you got to have a way of getting your story out there, and you got to be able to promote it, advertise it. And sometimes you might be ahead of your time and have a new product. For example, like I was saying, people were searching online for Hydroxycut, Lipozene, Slim Quick, all these diet products, and we was showing up in organic search. And I noticed that we were starting to drive sales from that because I looked into our Google Analytics, and I seen that the trademarks were being typed into Google. Well, I went out and we did a link building campaign targeting those keywords, and boom, it just flew up to the top 5 in Google. So there's your whole blog, if you have a blog, your whole blog should be developed around storytelling. Every time you write a blog, try to share a story. There's different types of content, informational, educational content, then there's storytelling content. If you can write a story around your products or services where people have used it, do it. Interview this person, tell them to share their story, whatever it may be, on how your product resolved their challenges. And so many different people in the industry can use this. Attorneys, doctors, yoga, supplement companies, entrepreneurs, freelancers, business owners, consultants, you name it. Attorney might share a story of someone that was trying to, something happened, maybe an accident, and how they, boost their settlement with the insurance company or whatever it may be. There's tons of stories that you can share, but they have to be very engaging and very emotional-like. And don't try to sell too soon. Your point in the story is to help provide the solution through the content and share how the solution, was, how the solution applied to the challenge. You want to share the challenge first, and then you want to move into the solution. And that's when you can start selling yourself, your product or service or whatever it may be. So, as mentioned, and like I said before, storytelling is a growth hacking tool. And the reason I keep bringing the blog up, if you can build your blog around stories, chances are you're going to find something that's going to take off in there. And just remember that every story that you tell is not going to blow up, but it's definitely not going to hurt to try. If anything, it's going to increase your odds. It's going to increase your chances of success. And when you hire a writer, try to hire someone that's very familiar with analogies and metaphors. And this is one thing that I brought up in the conference when I was in San Francisco. A good writer can do you wonders, because let me tell you, I wrote the story up at first, it didn't do so well. I had someone else write the story up, and it took off. The conversion rates were double. And this was back when you could do trademark bidding on Google. At one time, Google was allowing trademark bidding, where you could bid on your competitors' trademarks. So what we did was bid on our competitor trademarks. The story that I wrote up was only converting about 3% per 100 visitors. I had a professional copywriter rewrite our story, and it blew our campaign up to about 7 to 8% conversion. And we just kept hacking it, and changing it up, reinventing the way we was doing it. And, we used Google Ads to see what our conversions were. But SEO was originally where all of our traffic came from. And then we started bidding on PPC and doing other things, media buying, email marketing. And that's another thing. You can share your stories through LinkedIn, Facebook, email marketing, SEO, PPC. You can remarket. So say, for example, someone reads somebody's story online through your website and they didn't convert. Why not share another story to them through Facebook? The second story might be a little bit more engaging. Someone that has already visited your site and they converted the form, why not remarket and retarget to that user again and build those stories into their heads and keep building them into their head? Because you're eventually, what's going to happen is they're going to buy. Usually, storytelling is so powerful that it will get people just to click right away. We get people online that read our stories sometimes in our case studies or whatever it may be. They're like, that's me, I'm having the same problem. They call and they're like, look, I want to hire you. It's like, whoa, okay, let me get the contract ready. You know what I mean? And that's how powerful stories are. People, just ignites them, it makes them take action. So that is the power of storytelling and digital marketing. Thank you.